they sent several of the Auto Union racing driver Bernd Rosemeyer. One stage was nearly 3,500 kilometres from Gliwice, which is now Gliwice in Poland, to Istanbul and then Berlin in just 13.5 hours, which no other light tourer of the time could ever match. They were used as communications aircraft by the Luftwaffe at wartime and for a certain amount of conversion training for BF109 pilots, and occasionally they were involved in some rather interesting operations. It was a BF108 that was involved in what became known as the Mechelen incident on a German line in January, I should say, 1940. A 108 force landed in Belgium, which hadn't yet been occupied by the Germans, carrying two German officers, one of whom was carrying secret plans for the coming invasion of the Low Countries. And the colour scheme on this Nord 1002, which was a French licence-built 108, represents an aircraft operated by the headquarters division of a Luftwaffe frontline unit, which was stolen from Chateauneuf airfield near Paris on the 11th of September 1943 by two would-be Luftwaffe escapers who flew in at 3,000 feet to Seltz-Seebel. And when they came across the British coast, they fired long white berry flares to try and indicate that they had no hostile intentions. They then carried on from there to Royal Naval Air Station Ford, but they were fired out en route by a Cavalier Mosquito and several Hawker Taifuns. The aircraft wasn't hit, but the pilot was rather shaken by the experience and decided to force land almost immediately before the undercarriage had been properly locked down. So it turned into a crash landing. The pilot, Unteroffizier Johnny Zuppinger, was so badly hurt and died from his injuries a few days later, but the passenger, Unteroffizier Victor Packer, survived what was one of the rather notable occasions in the military history of the BF108. This one's been fitted with an American-built Lyconic engine. Dates from 1951, and it's often been used by Shoot Aviation, a major. This one coming into land as the Anson flies through. Nigel Wilson flying the BF108 today. Squadrons across both of those commands had Anson when war broke out. These aircraft were very much on the front line when war broke out, and the 500 Squadron was flying its Mark I Ansons from and it made the RAF's first U-boat attack for the whole war 2 days after the declaration of war in September 1939. We assured the remaining British troops on the beaches the RAF was still there in the air. The three, Hudson and the Armstrong with Whitley, came along. It then found other roles. It was of course used as a light transport, it was used as a ferry aeroplane for the Air Transport Auxiliary, and it was hugely important as a trainer for pretty much every member of Allied bomber crews, both here in the UK and over in Canada with the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan. And Anson's soldiered on with the RAF in communications roles until 1968.